right. Who did I select at pick 182 for the Tennessee Titans? Wide receiver Tahj Washington out of USC. Bottom line, the guy can ball, right? And there's a lot of, documented talk about who the Tennessee Titans should have taken, right? Whether it be on Twitter and other social media, who other draft analysts who were clamoring for, right? They'll tell you they had four or five, six guys that they wanted the Tennessee Titans to select. But let's be blunt. One name that comes to mind is Malik Washington. Malik Washington. That's who you heard. Maybe even Johnny Wilson, for the eccentric people wanting the next Plaxico Burress or the next, tight end convert type of dual threat type of wide receiver, big body wide receiver. Very rarely or lower down the list do you see Tahj Washington. And it's already documented and it's already stated how much my explanation of why Tahj Washington will be good in the league, because I tried to rest my laurels on the evaluation, not the player. But I did say, don't be surprised if he's one of, if not the best slot receiver that comes out of this draft class. And the reason being is you take him, and I'll give you an explanation to why I believe he'll be the best slot, but you take him here because he provides everything that you took Jaquan Jackson for, but more as a receiver. Now, does he have the production collegiately as a punt returner or a kick returner? Not necessarily. Does he have the skill set? Yes. Does he have a comparable, if not better, skill set? Yes. Than who you would have taken or who is available. Then you look at the offensive production, and we'll talk about the role. You look at a guy that slot dominant, who can win at every level. He can get you underneath by sitting in zones. He runs routes with such veteran savviness to not only find the zones, but runs zig routes, whip routes with great head movements, body movement, body control, the ability to make people miss without breaking stride. Then you talk about that next level, intermediate, being able to run crossers, catch with his hands, have concentration, be able to protect himself. Then you look at the deep threat element, the ability to not only stretch vertically with deceptive 4.5 speed, but also knows during second reaction plays, he knows how to get open. Not just get open randomly. He understands pre and post snap defensive coverage. He knows the weakness of a coverage when a play breaks down. That's how cerebral and underrated Tahj Washington is. And I think when you look at the situation, whether it be NFL draft analysts driving home wanting Malik Washington, and then you literally have the Miami Dolphins taking them back to back, you'll see throughout this process that all things being well, that Tahj Washington will separate himself as a receiver, a pure receiver throughout all of that group, that whole Miami group that's at the, outside of the top three of Hill, Waddle, and OBJ. When you start talking about Berrios, Craycraft, Malik Washington, and then you talk about Tahj, and then you talk about Eric Ezukama, you're gonna see Tahj separate himself. Period. You're gonna see him separate himself because of the things that I mentioned. And then you're gonna see guys like Malik Washington, where I do think his role could be more, let's say, more versatile, because you can run him on gadgets. You probably feel more comfortable running him on screens and using him as the guy that really gets the bulk of the carries, the bulk of the end arounds, the bulk of the backfield carries, putting him on kick return and dealing with that high impact type of game, compared to a Tahj Washington type of player that is more slight of frame. So the utility of Malik Washington is appealing. I get it. But then when I look at the pure ability of Tahj Washington, I cannot ignore his ability to play the wide receiver position. And then not just the wide receiver position, but how he plays it with extreme detail, with extreme unique traits, ability to make people miss suddenly, the ability to set people up, and he's just getting started. He's going to be in a similar situation to my first round wide receiver, Roman Doomsday, learning from some of the best receivers in the game at full speed on how to set up defenders better. The only thing is the slighter frame. He did wear a left shoulder brace in college and did not lift because of that so-called injury. But all things being equal, this guy has the ability to be the top pure slot wide receiver of this draft class. I stand on that. And the tape shows it. The tape shows it. Now, a lot of people say doesn't run block well, but newsflash, most slot receivers, they are slighter frame. And their penchant isn't to be great or awesome run blockers. But I'll tell you what about Tahj Washington. He has high effort in the run game, trying to block and trying to get on players and trying to be sticky to them, more so than a lot of players that may have higher grades or you put on the tape. He's actually creating lanes for runners and stuff like that. Now, I don't want him to be too much of a some people use the word try hard, but I don't want him to try to do it and possibly get hurt trying to do it. Be smart with how you do it. Definitely do your job. Definitely, don't sacrifice your teammate to play that game of preserving yourself. Be smart with how you execute your blocks in the NFL. There's other ways to get defenders around, whether it be in man coverage, running them off to set up a great angle. But he's a high effort player, high IQ player, and I have a glowing review on him because of the evaluation and the explanation. His tape did all the talking needed. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to say I want to be contrarian and say Tahj Washington is, I had him ranked over Malik Washington. I had Tahj Washington ranked over Ladd McConkey, as far as a slot receiver goes. So, I'm not doing it to be contrarian. He did all the work via tape, via attitude, via character. Who's the next pick?